Opinionated Idiot.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Opinionated Idiot YouTube live show. We're back here again. It's Thursday night, April 6, 2023. I know that I'm going a little bit earlier tonight, but we have a long interrogation video for this Throwback Thursday. Tonight, we are doing Colonel Russell Williams, the Canadian man that loved to dress in women's clothing. Very awkward and strange case, but we're going to get into all the intimate details of this case. The crowd will come in. I know they probably realize I'm going, hey, what's going on with Opinion? And he's going early. This is a long one. It's a long interrogation, but I have to say, it is one of the most amazing pieces of police work in an interrogation that I've ever seen to get this confession out of I'm not even going to say Colonel Russell Williams. I'm just going to say Russell Williams because he doesn't deserve that respect anymore. But before I go on with the program, if this is your first time over here, please make sure to subscribe, like, and comment after this video post, or you can chat there up in the live chat. I'd love to see what you guys are talking about. Before I go into the full programming of the show, I just want to read a statement that I came up with and just address a few things. So I always, once in a while, have to do a statement. But here we go. Drive and passion are two important ingredients for success in any area of life. Drive refers to internal motivation and determination to achieve a specific goal, while passion is intense enthusiasm and love for a particular activity, idea, or cause. Drive and passion are closely linked, as passion fuels drive and drive sustains passion. When you're passionate about something, it gives you the energy and excitement to keep going on when faced with obstacles or setbacks. And when you have drive, you're willing to put in hard work and effort needed to turn your passion into a reality. Having both drive and passion is essential for achieving your goals and living a fulfilled life. Without drive, your passion may remain just as a hobby or a dream. And without passion, your drive may falter and you may lose interest in your pursuits. So what if you want to succeed in your chosen field? It's important to cultivate both drive and passion. This is done by setting clear goals, finding in what truly motivates and inspires you, and staying focused and committed to your vision. This is why I interact with my audience in my live streams. This is why I may ask during my live streams a few times to say, hey, can you smash that like button? I don't think asking for someone to smash the like button is as criminal as someone begging for money on their streams. I'm passionate about my channel. I'm passionate about my fans. I'm passionate about reaching every person in this ginormous spinning globe we call Earth. I'm not going to apologize or address this anymore. And I'm simply done speaking on this subject. So tonight, let's pull up Colonel Russell Williams. Let me give you a little bit of if you don't know who this is, I'm sure you are for this Throwback Thursday, but let's look here. David Russell Williams is a convicted British-born Canadian felon and former Air Force officer. He's currently serving a life sentence without the possibility of parole for 25 years for two murders committed in November 2009 and January 2010. In late January 2010, the Ontario Provincial, I'll get this out, Police, or OPP, other people's property. Oh, you down with OPP? Yeah. Discovered evidence that led them to suspect Williams' involvement in disappearance and death of Jessica Lloyd and suspected links to 2 other crimes that had been committed in close proximity to other locations near Williams' previous home in Tweed, Ontario. On February 7th, Williams was interrogated on video by OPP investigator Jim Smyth and confronted with the evidence of the tire tracks and boot prints at Lloyd's home. Over the next 10 hours, Williams gave a detailed confession of the sexual assault and murder of Lloyd, and also the sexual assault and murder of Corporal Marie-France Comeau, and at least 2 other cases initially. The subsequent evidence in Williams brought further confessions and revealed evidence in detailed notes and photographs stored at his home. The evidence showed that he had broken into at least 82 houses to steal women's underwear. This behavior later escalated to sexual assaults and later still to rapes and murders. He was charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder and 2 counts of forcible confinement, 2 counts of breaking and entering, and sexual assault. Along 82 charges relating to breaking and entering were later added. On October 21st, 2010, Williams was sentenced to 2 life sentences for first-degree murder and 2 10-year sentences for sexual assault, 2 10-year sentences for forcible confinement, and an 82 one-year sentence for breaking and entering, all to be served concurrently. The life sentences mean Williams will serve a minimum of 25 years with parole eligibility. I hope this demon never gets out of prison. You deserve to be there for the rest of your life. Because he was convicted of multiple murders, Williams will not be eligible for parole under the faint hope clause of criminal code. From July 2009 until his arrest of February 2010, Williams commander CFB Trenton, Canadian's largest military airbase for a hub of the country's foreign and domestic air transportation operations. He was also a decorated military pilot who'd flown Canadian VIP aircraft and dignitaries of head of state. Following the charges being made on February 8th, 2010, Williams was relieved as base commander at CFB Trenton. Following his conviction on October 22nd, 2010, Williams was stripped of his commission ranks and awards by the Governor General of recommendation of the Chief of Defense Staff. His uniform, documents, and military equipment were destroyed by the Canadian military. Rightfully so. Rightfully so. And if you don't know, if you would like to see a photo of said gentleman in his undergarments, I will show you. This is Mr. Colonel that liked to steal the undergarments after torturing, raping, and murdering them and take photos in their undergarments. With that being said, let's pull up this interrogation video because that's what we came for tonight. First, quick, Victorine says, I'll be here tonight. Excited for this one. Fireflies in the house. She says, hello. Hello back. Stephen Daniels is here. And the Canadian cat lady says, yes, you had it right. Ontario Provincial Police, not down with OPP. Exactly. All right, guys, let's pull up the interrogation video. Let's not waste too much time and get into this one. Again, amazing interrogation work by police officer Smith. All right, here we go. It's the interrogation of Russell Williams.
You just have to see the Russell. The guy I was speaking with on whatever night that was Russ as well.
Oh, yeah.
And he took every number I had.
One thing that I do want to point out before this all starts is that notice the confidence of Russell Williams when this interrogation first starts. He's very, very confident. And you can see the confidence get beaten down as the evidence comes into play, where he basically knows he's stuck and he has no way to talk his way out of this one. And this is amazing. that this police officer got this confession out of Russell Williams. I'm gonna refrain from calling him Colonel because he doesn't deserve that rank. But with his training, his military background, I mean, I'm sure that he took many classes in, psyche and interrogation and military tactics to defer in interrogation. This is an amazing piece of police work here. So we'll play on here.
Yeah, now they were doing some pretty thorough interviews that night.
Yeah, absolutely. It was
All right.
glad to see it.
Just gotta move your gloves here. That's a little microphone, just to make sure there's nice and clear. As you can see here, everything in this room is videotaped and audio taped.
Check.
You ever been interviewed by the police in a room like this before?
I have never been interviewed like this.
Oh no? Okay.
No.
Let's get this set up here.
I guess the closest to interview by NIS for top secret clearance.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, again, Russell, I appreciate you coming in. An investigation like this, I mean, I'm sure you can appreciate it's been big news, especially down Belleville way. And, obviously our approach to cases like this is that we don't give up on somebody being alive until we get evidence that they're not. So because of that, we're treating Jessica's case as an emergent situation, obviously. Yeah. So we're fast forwarding things that we might normally take our time with. And that's why we're here on a Sunday afternoon. Sure. So again, I appreciate it. Okay. We're going to do a pretty thorough interview today. Okay. The reason for that is because the last thing we want is to be calling people back again and again and again. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over a number of things, and I'm going to explain what all those are to you. Okay. I'm a big coffee guy. I don't know if you're a coffee guy or not, but I didn't want to drink in front of you. So
no, I appreciate that.
All right, go ahead.
I could definitely. Are they black?
Yeah, they're just black with sugar.
I remember a coworker of mine, many years ago, we used to watch all these interrogation videos. We used to be at work, and because they're so pleasant, both are just very pleasant through this interrogation. We used to kind of joke around, and I don't tend to make joke of murder, of course, but we used to walk around work and go, "Sorry about the murders." I don't know why we said that. It was just kind of a common thing when we watched this particular one. So let's play on.
Probably have a little bit.
Started your what, sorry?
Gum. Just
okay.
piece of gum.
Well, there's napkins there if you want to toss it or whatever.
I appreciate that.
All right, and again,
this part here, Smyth is building this rapport with him. It's very lighthearted. The energy is very light, and you're going to see this build. It's going to build into this kind of, I wouldn't say powder keg, but he is just so brilliant in this. He just keeps, bringing up the level, and then the heat comes on, and then Williams knows he's screwed when the evidence comes in.
Like I said, this interview is going to be very thorough. But again, I have a simple rule when I talk to people. And
he's, and this is, I know I'm going to stop this a lot. Setting guidelines, setting expectations. I think this is the way that he had to approach Williams, knowing that has that military background, just getting right in there and saying, this is the way it is. This is the way that's going to be. Very military-like, very, very, very military-like.
Well, it's, I'm sure you're the same way. I treat everybody with respect. I don't want to ask you to do the same for me. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off by going through what your rights are. Okay. Just like everybody else. Okay. Have you ever been read your rights before?
No.
I'm sure you've seen it on TV a whole bunch of times, but that's usually the American version. So I'll go over with you briefly. Okay. Basically in Canada, as you know, I'm sure, is we all have our rights guaranteed under the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Okay. Now, Russell, just to avoid any confusion, because people do get confused when they're talked to by the police, is that you're obviously not under arrest here today. Okay. Anytime you feel you want to leave here, you feel free to do so. The door's not locked. Teresa will walk you down the lobby anytime you want. Okay. If there's anything that comes up in our interview today, Russell, that you feel.
And Smyth never showed any sign of nervousness through this entire investigation. I think that's why he got it. That's how we got it out of him.
You want to talk to a lawyer about, you just let me know. Okay. Sure. And the reason for that is I want to explain to you exactly what's going on here, okay? Jessica Lloyd is one of 4 cases that we're currently investigating, okay? And essentially what's happened is over the past about 4 or 5 months, there have been 4 occurrences that, like I said, that we're looking into. 2 of those occurrences occurred in September of 2009. And very briefly, they were up in the Tweed area. They involved somebody entering 2 different women's houses in the evening hours and committing sexual acts. Okay. In November of 2009, a young lady by the name of Marie-France Comeau was found murdered in her home in Brighton. And we believe that there was a sexual component to that crime as well. And then most recently we have Jessica Lloyd's disappearance. Okay. So essentially, when you look at those kind of crimes, we're looking at a number of different potential criminal charges. All right. We're looking at issues all the way from the most serious one, which is first-degree murder, kidnapping, sexual assault, break and enter with intent to commit sexual assault, forcible confinement. Okay. And so what I want to make sure you understand, and this is what we've been doing with everybody we've been talking to, is that clearly when we find out who's responsible for one or all of those crimes, they could be charged with one or all of those offenses, okay, whether it's you or whether it's anybody else, right? And that's why it's important that we make sure that people understand what they have to do and what they don't have to do when they're talking to us, okay? So as I said before, any point today you feel the need, you want to speak to a lawyer, you let me know, and we can take you to a room where you can do that in private, okay? Do you have your own lawyer?
I have a realty lawyer, but
okay.
no, I don't have a lawyer.
All right. If at any point you want to make that call and you don't know who to call, we have a phone list of lawyers that are available to give you advice free of charge right over the phone. Okay.
Another thing to notice too is notice where Smyth is positioned. He's positioned between Williams and the door. And notice where Williams is positioned in this interrogation, up against the wall. That's kind of giving him the signal, you know, that feeling that he's not going to be, is as much as Smyth said he's as free to go at any time, he's basically painted into a corner that he's going to have to answer some questions today and answer for some things when evidence is brought into this.
So again, if at any point today you want to take advantage of that, you just let me know.
Sure.
Is there any reason you want to call a lawyer now?
Don't pick on bald people.
A couple other fairly simple and straightforward things that you probably understand, but again,
this is the thing about people with bald heads, okay? If you're balding, okay, and I get that too. See, I have it. Just shave your head, man, and own it. That's all you need to do. Don't hang on to it. Women are still going to think you're attractive. Just shave your head, man. You know, some of the most sexiest people in Hollywood, men, are bald. Bruce Willis, I said Williams because Bruce Willis, The Rock, you know.
Over them to make sure everybody's clear.
The sex symbols, you know, whatever.
You don't have to speak to me today, okay? And the reason for that is because the law considers me to be what we refer to as a person of authority, okay? Probably similar to what you may be.
One beautiful thing about it, I don't have to get up and do my hair in the morning anymore. I got to do my beard, but I don't have to do my hair. Imagine if I had hair and a beard and I had to do this every morning. Holy smokes.
Considered to be on the base.
Too much.
And because of that, I can be compelled to appear before any judge in the country, basically, to account for what takes place here today between you and I. Okay. And that's the reason why everything's recorded, because there can't be any more accurate record than that, right? So,
Too much.
And the other thing I want to make sure you understand is that, you know, you mentioned a second ago about Miss Comeau being one of your work associates. So I don't know what's happened since November on the military side of things. But what we want to make people clear on is that if you have been spoken to by any person in authority or any police officer about any of those cases, I don't want what they may have said to you to make you feel influenced or compelled to say anything to me today, okay? Whatever you might have felt influenced or compelled to say to them earlier, you don't have to repeat it to me and you don't have to say anything.
Amazing psychological
But obviously what you do say, you know, for the third time is being recorded, right? So
understood. These first 2 attacks happened not that far from my place in Tweed. Well, the second one did.
Yeah.
We didn't even know the first one had happened, but I understand that was reasonably close as well. But the second one was was very close.
Yeah.
So sort of,
And I almost think this part right here, Williams is digging for information to try to get something here, to see where, possibly where they are at this investigation. And he's going to find out soon. Is this a very amazing interrogation?
at the time, Joe PP did a door-to-door.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for watching me on Twitch, buddy. You can come over here
Okay.
on YouTube if you
Yeah, and
wanna watch
I'm
us
aware
on
of that
YouTube
from looking at
and
the different
subscribe to
cases.
the channel over here. I'll
And
drop
essentially,
the link.
Russell, in a nutshell, that's what we wanted to
Come join us
talk
on
to you
YouTube
about.
if you have
Okay.
a YouTube account.
Those 4
Subscribe.
cases are of concern to us. And,
I am on
you've
Twitch.
kind of almost hit the nail
Not
on
many
the head
people watch me
about
on
some of our
Twitch,
issues that kind of
We're
make us
we're a
want to talk
YouTube
to
platform.
Russell
We're a
Williams,
YouTube
okay?
platform.
Because essentially, there's a connection between you and all 4 of those cases. Would you agree? Geographically,
And then I guess
or
I drive past, yes, I would
Yeah.
have to say there's a connection. Yeah.
And there's
Yeah.
the first confrontation after Williams just said, hey, look, I live in the area where this happened. And now he's being confronted. This is where the evidence is going to start turning here.
and that's why I'll be quite frank with you. That's why things kind of evolved when the officers talked to you on Thursday night.
Okay.
We kind of went from there because when I think you discussed with them the fact that you were a colonel at the base.
I was in uniform at the time, so.
Yeah. So
Yeah, and you notice that the interrogator calls him Russell and not Colonel.
pretty obvious, right?
Yeah.
So essentially, then the connection with Miss Comeau was made, and I believe you're a door or 2 down from one of those 2 incidents
I think
in Tweed.
3 doors down, yeah.
Yeah,
Very close, absolutely.
yeah, exactly. So those are some of the issues we wanted to discuss with you.
Yeah.
Okay. So just getting back to these 4 incidents that we're talking about, maybe you could just give me a little bit of history as to your arrival in the base in Trenton. When did you start working there?
Friday on the day, I was, Friday on the day I was at home most of the time. Most of the day I had a sort of a stomach flu.
Of course, yeah.
In Ottawa or Tweed?
Tweed.
In Tweed? Okay.
Yeah.
So we backtrack then. So all day Friday, you're at home.
Yeah.
And then what time do you leave to go to the base to sleep there on the Friday night?
Not sure. Probably just, went in for just before bed. So I probably left Tweed at between 8 and 9 or so.
Okay. And you get to the base and spend the evening there and get up for the 5:30?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
So we backtrack from there. When did you arrive at your home at the cottage? I don't want to get confused between your home in Ottawa and the home in Tweed.
understood.
So
No, I had been in Tweed all week.
Yeah.
The week prior now. Yeah, I think that's the case. Was in Tweed all week. Flew Saturday. Headed to Ottawa Saturday night.
Okay. So if you didn't have the stomach flu on the Friday, what was your
I think
schedule
it was
that
something
day?
like 8, really.
Okay.
What would have been my schedule? Just a standard schedule in the office.
Okay.
So office brief in the morning, a couple of meetings. I can't remember what the specifics were going to be.
Okay. So Thursday night you slept at Tweed, or you?
Yep.
All right. And what did you do Thursday during the day?
Thursday during the day, I was at the base again. I think it was a fairly standard day. I can't recall exactly, but yeah, nothing. I was not flying, so I was at the base. So I would have gone in early in the morning, back in the evening again.
Okay. Do you remember what time you left the base that night?
I don't remember anything peculiar, so I would say, I don't know, probably 7 to 9, somewhere in that range.
That's when you left.
Left the base, yeah.
And what
It's a
was
45-minute transit. So
45 minutes home?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, I'm not going to walk you through November, but I'm going to take you to a date that's probably pretty fresh in your mind. The day that Marie-France Comeau. Do you remember how you found out?
I do. Yeah, I was sent an email. Well, as soon as the ops staff and the base learned, they told me.
Okay.
So I got an email. I can't remember if it was late at night, early in the morning. It was certainly, I saw it, I want to say first thing in the morning, because I had just come back from Ottawa. I was in Ottawa for
Yes.
a set of meetings on one of the days.
100%. 100%. That is a stress relieving technique. 100%. He knows he's in a lot of shit, and this is going to paint him into a corner. He's going to have nowhere to go. Absolutely.
Can't remember what day we were talking about, but yeah, no, I mean, obviously when your people gets killed, it gets your attention. So
Absolutely.
yeah, I very much remember that coming in.
And how did you know Marie-France Comeau?
I'd only met her once.
Yeah, I actually think he said it was his fourth piece before he got in there, if I remember correctly, or it was his last piece, something like that. She
was on a crew I was on just after I got to the base.
Okay.
So I can't even remember. I think it was a one-day trip. I did a number of trips in Canada, transporting our troops, sort of first leg out of Edmonton. We tend to hopscotch them across until they get into theater. So anyway, I can't remember which trip it was, but we did a number of them out to Edmonton just to pick up the troops, bring them to Trenton, and then put a fresh crew on, and because we fly out and back in the same day, so pushing the edge of that. And, fresh crew on, and then continue on after a couple hour delay.
Okay. Do you know roughly when that happened?
That we were on the same crew?
The time you met her, the one time there, yeah.
It was soon after I got to the base, so I don't remember exactly, but I would say in the first couple of months, so August, September.
Okay. His body language is very closed off. He's trying to defend himself, with the arm in front. It's just a very closed off, like I said, look where he's positioned up here in this upper quadrant up here. He's up against the wall. You have the interrogator, and I don't know if you guys can see my pointer. You have the interrogator here. Russell Williams is here. The door is here. Yes, he could come around, but look what's right in his path. This arm crossed, that's blocking, that's a blocking technique. It's body language. So yeah, you're 100% right.
Now you got that email notifying you that something had happened. Do you have any kind of a clear recollection as to how your schedule was going that week?
Well, I can't remember what day that the message came in. Just a second. No, I can't remember what day of the week, but I'm just thinking there was a whole bunch of activity spun up as a result, obviously. No, I can't remember the day of the week. I'm just trying to think through the news reports I read. No,
and this is like trying to get a story straight here.
Sorry, I can't remember what day that was, but
the lies.
What we learned after the fact was that the MPs had learned.
Yeah, nervous,
of her
scratching.
Death, I think quite a bit after her body had been discovered.
Okay.
So I think what happened. I'm sorry, just a second. Okay. So I think, if I remember correctly, the MPs learned late that evening. Can't remember when, obviously, her body was discovered. It was probably in the news reports. But so they learned, and then they passed it to ops, so they immediately passed it to me.
Okay.
The MPs work for the wing operations officer, so they go, through their chain of command, and then as soon as the duty to watch officer had that information, she advised me.
Okay. So again, that particular
along
week,
with some others.
right. I'm sure it spread like wildfire.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that particular week, do you have any recollection? Well, for instance, when you got the email, do you remember where you were?
I was at home in Tweed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you remember if that was a week that you were reasonably stable in Trenton, or had you flown?
No, I had been in Ottawa. Early in the week for some meetings over in Gatineau for one of the, it's actually for the C-17 acquisition. I was project director when I was here in Ottawa for that, so just some follow-up stuff for that.
Okay.
So I had been here at some point in that week. Again, I can't remember how the days all fell together, but I seem to remember that I got this word shortly after having come back from Ottawa. It seems to me it was the same week.
So if we were to do a similar investigation in your background, is there anything you can think of that anybody may have misinterpreted, or anything in your history that somebody might say Russell Williams
Absolutely
did this?
No.
Okay.
Be very boring.
What's that?
It'll be very boring.
All right, because essentially that's what I'm looking at. Is that you seem like a very intelligent person, and I think you can see how a surprise like that would certainly set off some alarm bells in our investigation, right? Okay.
Sorry about the murders.
So the next thing we need to cover off is, I'll just ask you this straight out. Given the types of crimes we're investigating, do you get much chance to watch television shows, CSI, things like that?
Oh, here it comes. This is now he's going to start hand feeding him slow, just like little crumbs. He's going to start, really pushing him here and building the tension in this interrogation. This is where it really starts getting good, and he's going to start fucking sweating.
I prefer Law and Order, but I do watch CSI occasionally. Yes.
Okay, so you have an idea of obviously the forensic capabilities, things like that are out there. What would you be willing to give me today to help me move past you in this investigation?
What do you need?
Well, would you be willing to supply things like fingerprints, blood samples,
Sure.
things like that?
Yeah.
Okay. Footwear impressions.
Screwed now.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I think that's what we're gonna ask you to do.
Okay.
All right. Now we have a process we have to go through to do that.
Okay.
And for the blood sample, I don't take the blood sample. We have specially trained officers that are trained to do that.
Okay.
I'm going to step out and make sure they're still available.
Can I assume you're going to be discreet?
It's possible. Yeah.
Because
he knows he's screwed now. This is the moment. Right there. This is it. He knows, because he doesn't want his wife to know. He doesn't want the military to know. He doesn't want anybody to know. He's preparing himself. He knows this is going down hard. You can see the leg is stretched out. This is language, body language, like he knows it's coming.
this would have a very significant impact on the base if they thought you thought I did this.
Well, bottom line, Russell, that's one of the reasons we're here on a Sunday afternoon.
Okay.
The military certainly be of great assistance to us, especially in relation to Ms. Comeau's investigation. So that's certainly one of the things that went into our decision to give you a call at home today and see if we could deal with this today.
Okay.
So, okay.
Because it's tough to undo the rumor mill once it gets started.
There's the deep breaths. You see his body language getting tight. He's closing off.
Okay.
He knows.
Now that you've had some time to, I know we've been throwing a lot of things at you here, but now you've had some time to think about things. Is there anything that you're concerned about that buckle swab matching in any of those 4 residences? Is there, I guess, let me explain what I'm getting at here, Russell, okay? This is a significant investigation, as you can well imagine.
Yeah.
That DNA is going to be significant in our investigation, both quite possibly to help you, quite possibly to help us.
Understood.
I don't know yet. I don't know what the result is yet. And I'll go back to the example I gave you because it's a very similar issue, I think. And you talked about the idea of discretion here. Okay, you talked about the idea that I think hopefully you appreciate the fact of how we approached you here.
Yeah, absolutely.
And essentially, we have no issues with that. Okay. We talked recently about the whole idea of any unusual sex acts in your history. But another thing that can often happen in cases like this is that people become concerned about things like extramarital affairs, indiscretions along those lines.
So he's trying to give him essentially a little bit of an out, or he's trying to the interrogator is trying to get him to maybe admit to something smaller, like, hey, I met one of these women, I had an affair with them. He's trying to connect Williams to them and maybe try to get him on something small and elaborate on that. It's very smart interrogation.
Is there any contact that you may have had with any of those 4 women that you may not want your wife to be aware of? Anything like that we should know about to try and explain why, if your DNA is found, it would help us understand why it may be there.
Absolutely not.
He knows he's screwed.
Can you think of any reason
stress
why we would find your DNA in any other
shift
residences?
in the chair?
Let's focus on, well, for instance, house, I believe. Let me just check the name there, make sure I've got the right address. Talking about the house that was just a couple of doors down from you there in Tweed.
A couple of doors down was Lori. I don't know her last name. I don't know.
Mazzacati?
I don't even know what her last name is. But
yeah, closing off the body language, arms crossed.
The woman down the road, 3 doors down.
It's a defensive technique.
Her name is Lori. I don't know her last name.
All right, let me just make sure we're on the same page here.
It's closing yourself off, trying to resist.
My understanding is she lived at 76 Cozy Cove. Yeah, so she would be the second one, the second incident on your road there.
Yeah,
a couple of doors down. Ever been in her house?
No. We met her once, I think the first summer. We were there. So
Tweed, eh?
Okay. And that's what I'm getting at. Again, this is a credibility issue, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to come and see you 2 weeks from now and say, Russ, our CSI people in that house. And, are you familiar with how DNA works?
I think broadly, yes. I would guess so.
One of the challenges we have in 2010 with DNA is it's become so precise that I guess the best way to explain it is I can think back 15 years ago when I started in violent crime investigation.
Yeah.
For us to get a DNA match, the sample we had to find was,
large.
probably would have filled half of one of these cups. Because they destroy so much of the sample in the testing.
Now keep this in mind. Let's relate this to the Kohberger case. That DNA on that snap. Listen. He's going to tell you right now how much they need to process DNA.
Essentially, DNA has become more and more precise to the point where when you and I walked in this room earlier today, we could have sat down, talked for 30 seconds, walked out. CSI officer could have come in 3-4 days from now, done some swabs here, and he would have found your DNA and my DNA, and probably a lot of other people's DNA.
Sure.
A little bit gross to think about, but essentially, as we talk, a little bit aspirate comes out of our mouth that contains our DNA, or blood, or our skin cells contain our DNA.
All you need,
and that's what I'm getting at. If you were ever in Lori's residence, quite possibly, quite innocently, your DNA could be in that residence.
And you got to keep in mind too. And I'm gonna kind of go to Kohberger here. You got to keep in mind they did swabs at that house as well too. They did swabs, and they carried out a lot of evidence out of that house that they have not disclosed yet. And I dropped a video today on Kohberger that he's now being investigated in cold cases in Pennsylvania. And I don't want to break up my show here, but I find it very interesting, and we're going to go over this on the Sunday show because we're going to do a Kohberger show on Sunday. let's look at the list of things that were collected at Koberger's parents' house. There were a lot of weapons. There were a lot of guns. There were knives that were collected. Do you see where I'm going here? If any of those weapons or knives are connected to a cold case homicide in Pennsylvania, then we may have another crime in Pennsylvania. We're going to talk about that on Sunday. Let's get back to the interrogation.
Has there ever been a time you've been in there?
No.
Okay.
Food for thought.
What about the other lady down the road on?
I hadn't even heard that name, so no, I don't actually know who that
He was stealing and
Okay.
wearing it
Have
and
you ever
taking photos.
visited Marie-France Comeau at her residence?
And he would attack his victims and film it. And while he was attacking them, sexually assaulting them, and then murdering them, he was wearing their undergarments and filming it.
Okay. All right. So you're quite positive there would be no reason why your DNA would be in any of those
Absolutely.
3 locations. Okay. Did you know Jessica Lloyd even in passing for any reason?
No, I didn't hear her name till it was on the news.
Okay. And the reason I'm asking that is because I know you were asked that question on Thursday night, and sometimes what we find, and again, this is one of those situations that can sometimes cause us to get in a lengthy investigation as somebody that maybe doesn't deserve it.
Mm-hmm.
But what can happen sometimes is somebody gets stopped by the police like you did, and they get asked that question, and people, when they're stopped by the police, they can be nervous. Okay. So they blurt out an answer, and then they start driving away, and they go, oh, why'd I do that? Because the problem is that once they get asked again, then they feel compelled to maintain that answer for fear that if they change their answer, somebody could find it. You understand what I'm saying?
I do.
Okay. So I want to make sure that's not happening here. I don't care what you said to the officers on Thursday night last week. If there's any communication or contact between you and Jessica Lloyd, you've seen her picture, right, around town?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Ever seen her before?
Yep.
I don't. No, I would say I have not.
Okay. All right. All right. And you mentioned something about doing some renovations at your property in Tweed there. I think you said something earlier about tearing up carpet. Correct me if I'm wrong, but
Oh yeah.
okay. When did all that happen?
In 2004 or 5.
Okay. Any recent renovations?
No.
Okay. All right. Just want to make sure I'm covering all the bases here.
Guys turning the screws, man.
Okay. What kind of tires do you have on your Pathfinder?
Here it comes.
I think they're Toyo.
Okay. Do you know the brand name or sorry the
I think that
make?
is I don't. Sorry, the make is Toyo.
Yeah.
I don't know the model.
Okay. See, I'll read this off to you, see if it rings a bell. Ever heard of, does Toyo Open Country HTS?
That sounds
Make any
right.
They
sense?
got everything down.
When
to
did you
a
have
T.
those tires put on your Pathfinder?
Well, it's the second version we've had of them, so I think it might have been this past fall. They replaced other ones we'd had on the same.
Okay.
Well, Toyo, I can't say that they were exactly the same model, but our dealership here in Ottawa says they're very popular for the Pathfinders.
Okay.
And they were good. They lasted a long time.
All right. I've had to, I think you were talking about the whole idea of the MPs helping us with our investigation, stuff like this. You have the same system as we do at our headquarters with the swipe cards.
Mhm.
One of the things one of our investigators did is they made a call while I was talking to you there because we were trying to work through that week of the 23rd of November.
Okay.
23rd being the Monday, 24th being the Tuesday.
Okay.
What they've told us is that, and I want to make sure I get this right, is that on the 23rd, your swipe card was being used at the base. Okay.
Okay.
On Tuesday, 24th, there was no use of your swipe card.
Okay.
And then on the following days, the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, there was what appeared to be average activity of your
Okay.
swipe card in the base. Does that make sense to you?
It does. That says that I was in Ottawa on the Tuesday.
Okay. Do you remember where in Ottawa you were?
Yeah, I was in Gatineau with, as I said, meeting about the C-17.
Okay.
Butte and butte.
Now, again, I want to be fair to you here. We're going back 2 months.
Yeah.
Are you sure that would have been the day you were in Ottawa?
Well, only because I wasn't at the base.
Okay.
So I can't remember, honestly, that's the day I had the meeting in Ottawa. But if I wasn't at the base, it was because I was here.
Okay. Now, if that is the day you had a meeting in Ottawa, do you remember being at the base on the Monday, the 23rd, and swiping your card in and out? Do you remember what you would have done that evening to get to Ottawa for that meeting? Like, would it be?
I drove to Ottawa in the morning of the day of my meeting. So if it was the Tuesday, then I would have left Tweed. It was a very foggy morning.
Okay.
That morning, I drove in that morning.
Okay.
So I would not have been at the base the day I was in Ottawa because the meeting started at 8:30 or something.
Okay. So you leave the base. You would have went home to your residence in Tweed.
Yep.
And then you left Tweed in the morning and drove up to your meeting in Ottawa.
Yep.
Okay. You leave the meeting in Ottawa is a daytime meeting, evening meeting, or do you remember?
Yeah, it was a daytime meeting. Finished, I don't know, mid-afternoon or so.
Okay.
We had lunch and then finished. I think my wife and I had dinner because she was here for work, and then I headed back.
Okay. Well, these are the kind of things I'm trying to draw out here. That's helpful to us. Do you remember where you had dinner?
Well, I don't remember exactly the restaurant, but it was in Westboro because that's where our house was being built at the time. So we had dinner, in a restaurant that we would expect to be able to frequent once the house was finished.
Okay. Remember how you paid?
One of us would have paid by MasterCard.
Okay. Are you sure about that, or?
Pretty sure. That's normally how we pay for meals.
All right.
Can't remember if it was me or my wife that paid, but one of us.
Okay. And do you remember which restaurant it was again?
No.
Okay. All right. And you see what I'm getting at, right? I mean, that can be very helpful for us because if we can track that issue, right? We can put somebody paying for a meal at a location.
Oh, I was meeting with 15 people or so that day. So.
Okay. What time did the meeting end?
No, I don't know, eh?
I would say between 3 and 4.
Okay. And are you sure that that's the same day you went out with your wife?
Butte.
Well, I think so. Yeah, because she was here, and I think that was the day we went to this restaurant in Westboro. Yes.
Okay. You finished dinner, and do you remember what you did that evening?
I would have driven back to Tweed.
He was out in the
And
butte.
you would have. Now, again, I know we're talking 2 months ago here, but do you
Yeah.
remember specifically having dinner and then driving back to Tweed, or do you remember? Are you just guessing here?
Oh.
No, I'm not really guessing. I mean, I believe that this night at this restaurant was following the meetings in Ottawa.
You can notice he's starting to wiggle now. He's sitting forward. That's all that body language, nervousness,
And I
nervous body language.
kissed my wife goodbye and headed back to
Butte in
Tweed
the butte.
to go to work the next day.
Okay. All right. The tires that you have on your truck, right? The reason I asked you about that is there any time? I mean, you recall where you were stopped by the officers there?
Me?
Yes.
Okay. Did they explain to you what the significance
So
of
that was her
location?
house.
That was her house.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the
Do
butte.
you remember that location?
Yep.
Do you remember what the crossroad was, or?
I don't think there was a crossroad. It's sort of just on the south end of 37.
Okay. When you get stopped at that location, has there been a time in the recent 1 or 2 weeks that your vehicle has left that road for any reason whatsoever? Have you driven into a field with your vehicle at all? For any reason you can think of?
No.
Okay. Because I want you to rack your brain here. This is important. So,
Yeah.
is there anything you can remember doing that would cause you to drive off the road
No.
at that section of roadway?
No, that's my early. That's the early
His
part of the
haircut is
highway.
annoying me.
I don't know if it's about 30 minutes from there to. No, probably 20 from there to my house.
Okay. Would it surprise you to know that when the CSI officers were looking around her property that they identified
Here it
a
is.
set of tire tracks.
This is it right here, guys and ladies. This is the moment. This is the moment to really pay attention to now. He knows he's going to be fucked here in a minute. That they're going to be the same tires that are on his truck. This has been a perfect interrogation up to right to this point, and it's just going to even get more brilliant.
The north of her property. Looks as if the vehicle left the road and drove along the north tree line of Jessica Lloyd's property. Okay. They took they examined those tire tracks, and they have contacts in the tire business. Obviously, tire tracks are a major source of evidence for us.
Sure.
Shortly after this investigation started, they identified those tires as the same tires on your Pathfinder.
Really?
Yeah.
There it is.
Okay.
One of the other things that they do to try and identify the type of vehicle that may have left those tires, well, is they do two things. They talk to witnesses. Okay. There was a female police officer that actually drove by that location that evening and recalls seeing an SUV type vehicle in the field.
Now you're going to watch. He's going to try to backtrack here. Now that the evidence is being put out there, now, the little pieces of evidence are starting to come out. He's going to try to backtrack and say, well, I don't know why, it would be there. I don't know why.
To the north of Jessica Lloyd's house.
Maybe, could have been in that area.
A Pathfinder. Okay. Could maybe consistent with other things, but consistent with a Pathfinder. And they, what they also do to try and identify.
This interrogator went right for it. Didn't even think for a second. He's just going for it right now. This is a badass interrogation.
The type of the vehicle is they look at what they call the wheelbase width.
Yeah, he knows now.
Because different vehicles, different makes, models have wheelbase width. So they can take those two sets of tire tracks, measure the distance between them.
Screw is turning. And
determine what the width is.
Sure.
And then they can enter that into a vehicle database, and it will spit out the types of vehicles. Okay. Your Pathfinder's wheelbase width is very, very close to the width of the tires that were left in that field. Okay. Do you have any recollection at all of being off that road?
No, it's not off the road. No.
Okay. All right.
He knows. I see the smile. He knows. He's done.
Is there anything you can think of? Let's go talk about Marie-France Comeau for a minute. Okay. Is there any reason at all you can?
And that's a brilliant switch. So he's now planted evidence in his head that they can confront him with. They know that they have him on. They're getting close to getting on something. Now he's going to go to the other victim and let him stew on this evidence inside his head. This is brilliant.
Think of that
to make him sweat.
During our investigation, obviously we're searching computers, things like Blackberries, right? Electronic devices, looking through houses for things that are in handwriting, written notes, diaries, things like that. Now, I'm not at liberty to tell you what the content was, but is there any reason at all you can think of why Marie-France Comeau would have specifically referenced you in some of her writings?
Not at all.
No?
No, absolutely not.
Okay. Is there anything that she ever said to you that led you to believe that there might be something more than a passing interest with her towards you?
Not at all. No, we spent, one flight together talking. I'd go back occasionally and talk. No, if that's the case, that's very surprising.
Okay. All right. You have any questions for me right now?
No.
Okay. I'm just going to step out and see how things are going. Okay. I mean, it is a sign.
Now he's going to let this sit. He's going to let this marinate now and let him think about it. He knows he's done.
But there's probably 60, 70 people working on this file.
He's building
a lot of things happening.
60, 70 people.
So let me go out and see what's happening, and then I'll come back in and we'll hopefully continue. Okay.
And keep in mind, this is it was a 10-hour interrogation to get him to confess. So this is, all the sitting time has been eliminated. So it boils down to about 2.5 hours.
I told you when I came in here that I'm going to treat you with respect, and I've asked you to do the same for me. We talked about the whole idea of how
he's breaking down. You can see it.
You here. Okay.
This is defeated body language.
Trying to be as discreet as possible. Okay. But the problem is, Russell, is every time I walk out of this room, there's another issue that comes up. Okay.
Bada bing, bada
It's
boom.
not issues that point away from you. It's issues that point at you. Okay. And I want you to see what I mean. All right. This is
Boots.
the footwear impression
Now,
of the
that's
person
the side.
who approached the rear of Jessica Lloyd's house
Mhm.
on the evening of the 28th and 29th of January.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now, I want you to keep in mind that this is slightly smaller, okay, in scale. Okay.
Okay.
All right. That's not to scale. That's the footwear is actually bigger.
Okay.
If you look here on the ruler, you'll see that 1 inch is just slightly smaller than an actual inch.
Okay.
Okay. But this is the way it prints off on the computer.
Yeah.
I'm going to move this over so you can see what I mean. All right. Essentially, when you're dealing with footwear impressions, we have a gentleman on the OPP who's basically world renowned. His name is John Norman. And essentially, with footwear impressions, you're in a situation where you're pretty much in the area of fingerprints. Okay. And essentially, what we're talking about here is, especially when you start adding in other pieces of information that support an investigative position.
Yeah.
Okay. This is a photocopy of the boot that you took off your foot just a little while ago. Okay. Now, I'm not an expert in footwear impressions, so I rely on the experts. Footwear impressions are very much like fingerprint comparisons. Okay. You take a look at this print, and again, this is one print. This person walked through. There's several different prints to compare. So we're going to get features off of one print to compare, features off another print to compare. These are identical.
Can you explain that? Oh, I was out and about.
Your vehicle drove up the side of Jessica Lloyd's house.
Right there.
Your boots walked to the back of Jessica Lloyd's house on the evening of the 28th and 29th of January. Okay. You want discretion.
Not a very smart criminal. Not that, I would say that criminals are smart, but for someone that's military trained that would know all of this stuff, his training is pretty bad.
We need to have some honesty, okay? Because this is getting out of control really fast, Russell. Okay, really, really fast.
Now, he can't explain it now. There's no way he can explain his way out of this. He knows he's fucked. This is why he's kind of,
this is getting beyond my control.
The body language.
All right, I came in here a few hours ago, and I called you the way I called you today because I wanted to give you the benefit of the doubt.
Mhm.
But you and I both know you were at Jessica Lloyd's house, and I need to know why.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, man. He's trying to figure our way out of this, and he's so dead to rights right now. He has no way. This is the this should have been the lawyer up moment. He can't explain it.
I don't know what to say. That's
Yep.
Well, you need to explain it because this is the other problem we're having, Russell. Okay. Again, these decisions are made by me. Right now, there's a search warrant being executed at your residence in Ottawa. Okay. So your wife now knows what's going on. There's a search warrant being executed at your residence in Tweed, and your vehicle's been seized. Okay. You and I both know they're going to find evidence that links you to these situations. Okay. You and I both know that the unknown offender male on Marie-France Comeau's body is going to be matched to you, quite possibly before the evening's over. Okay. This is a major investigation. The Center of Forensic Science is on call 24 hours a day helping us with this.
Yeah.
Your opportunity to take some control here and to have some explanation that anybody is going to believe is quickly expiring.
Mhm.
Okay.
Most of the time they
We're
don't.
applying,
They usually
the
support.
investigators now applying for a warrant to search your office.
He's turning. The
These aren't
interrogator's
decisions
turning the
that we
screws.
can say yes or no to. This is the practical steps in an investigation like this.
And he's gonna start squirming.
And Russell,
now. There's no way out of this. I think he's gonna talk about discretion here again pretty soon, if I remember correctly. Excuse me.
Russell,
Hmm?
listen to me for a second, okay? When that evidence comes in, when that DNA match, when that phone rings and somebody knocks on this door, your credibility is gone, okay? Because this is how credibility works, all right? And I know you're an intelligent person and you probably don't need to hear this explanation, but I also know your mind's racing right now, okay? Because I've sat across a lot of people in your position over the years.
This is so good.
Okay. The bottom line is that as soon as we get that piece of evidence,
And you got to look too. Look at the interrogator's voice this whole time. Level set approach. Not yelling, not raising his voice, not saying, you were the one that had the boots there. You were the one that drove your truck there.
evidence that solidifies it.
Just calm and cool.
Okay. As soon as the expert in footwear impressions, the expert in tire impressions calls and says, yes, I've examined those and they're a match, it's all over.
Total.
Because as soon as that happens, where's your credibility? Where's your believability? You're just another, and again, don't take this wrong, okay? But you can see if you step outside this room in your mind and imagine how people are going to view you, okay? If the truth comes out after the clear evidence is presented to you,
it's a little different.
when you finally go, okay, I'm
It's a little
screwed
different.
now,
All goes down to the same, I think.
what are we going to do?
The way their laws go. I was out and about. I promise.
You know, there's only one option. What other option is there?
What's the option?
Well, I don't think you want the cold-blooded psychopath option.
Here's another sigh. Stress.
I might be wrong,
God, this
because
is
don't get me wrong, I've met guys who actually kind of enjoyed the notoriety, got off on it, got off on having that label. Bernardo being one of them. I don't see that in you. If I saw that in you, I wouldn't be back in here talking to you, quite frankly.
He's getting it. He's close.
But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you got me fooled. I don't know.
He's so close. He's got him.
This is over.
He's
And it can have a bad ending.
Yep.
Where Jessica's parents continue to wonder where her daughter's lying. And I don't know. I mean, obviously, there's a huge search still underway, and it'll continue. It'll continue until her body's found. That might even happen tonight, for all I know.
masterful. Gosh. He's got him.
Once that happens, then I don't know what other cards you would have to play.
Yep.
What are we going to do?
He's so close to getting it. He wants to give it to him. But he's still waiting. He's trying to figure a way out, and he can't. And keep in mind, he is free to leave. He's not under arrest. He's only being questioned as a person of interest right now. And he told him at the very beginning that he can leave at any time. But he knows if he leaves, he's screwed. And he knows if he gives it up, he's screwed. And he's trying to weigh those options right now. I think it was Steve Smyth. I'll go back and look. Jim Smyth. Jim Smyth.
Russell,
See, he knows he's done.
what are we gonna do?
He's so close. I'm almost.
Call me Russ, please.
Oh, there it is. Call me Russ. This is I'm almost like, come on, get it. You know what I mean? Like he's gonna get it. He's gonna get it.
Okay.
That's it. He's broken him. Call me
What are we
Russ.
gonna do, Russ?
This is it. He's gonna ask him about discretion, I think, again. Because he doesn't want his wife to know. Or something about the house, from what I remember.
Is Jessica somewhere we can find her easily?
That stress. This is
Like,
the
is this
ultimate
something where I
stress
can
right
make a
here.
call and tell somebody to go to a
Scratch
location and they're going to
face.
find her, or is this something
He's
where we
holding
have
his
to go
face.
and take a walk?
He knows he has no way out. Come on, you almost got it. It's so close. I think Jim's gonna
Which
twist.
direction are we heading in here?
Yeah, he's gonna twist it a little bit more here. Deep breath. Yep, deep breath. It's close. It's so close. He's still trying to weigh the options. She was. Maybe we're gonna do that too. Yeah, we're gonna do that.
Russ,
I love when she says, what she say? One thing that we proved today is that you're a really bad liar.
maybe this would help. Can you tell me what the issue is you're struggling with?
Yeah. He says his wife. He's still trying to weigh the options. That's stress.
What's the issue you're struggling with?
Is the stress. Here it comes. Oh, it's like I'm getting like butterflies. It's gonna be coming here pretty soon. He's gonna get it. It's building. Yeah, Steve knows. He's got him. He's trying to weigh his options still. Right here. It's coming. He's almost ready to speak. He's so close.
It's hard to believe this is happening.
There it is. He's breaking them.
Why is that?
Yeah. Yep. He doesn't know. He's very stuck. It's coming. Yeah. I agree. You let it stew. You let it spin.
Why is it hard to believe?
He's almost got him there. So close.
It's just hard to believe.
Whose decision was it? And we're going to find out the answer to this anyway. But whose decision was it to issue the directive to the base personnel?
So
Nobody had to speak to them.
he couldn't get it. He had him teetering. Now he's going to go back and let all those thoughts sit in his head and go back and then bring him back up to the current reality that he's in. This is so good.
To the police and to seek legal counsel before they were questioned. It's
I don't think that was
my understanding that direction came from somebody that reports to you. What do you think they're going to say, Russ?
No.
What do you think they're going to say? All right, and let's step back for a second here, okay? I really don't think it benefits you or makes you look any better to start debating the little issues.
No,
okay?
but that is news to me.
Okay.
I have a legal officer that reports to me.
Yeah.
Who may have given that direction.
Okay.
But that's the first time I've heard it. If that's true, that's the first time I've heard that.
All right, and that may be the case, but how does it look? Right.
That was
We're not
brilliant
even
too.
dealing with something that's really even evidence because it's not
To
needed.
debate the little issues, that's not going to help you out. He knows that he knows, and he knows he's going to give it up here pretty soon.
I mean, when
No,
you
no,
have,
but
when you have DNA and all this other stuff, that's not
Why?
even
What was
really
the
an issue.
direction?
What?
I don't recall, but it was something along the
What do you
lines
mean?
of telling the people on the base that they didn't.
Why? What do you mean? What, doing a podcast? A
They
podcast?
weren't required
Why,
legally to speak with
legal?
police, and they should seek legal counsel before they decide to speak. But
Okay. Well, if that was actually said, it would not have been to the base at large. It may have been to the individual, the boyfriend who is the suspect.
okay, my understanding, it went out to all personnel.
No, absolutely.
Maybe no, only under your command. I don't know.
It didn't.
Okay, that's
I
fine.
didn't ever see it.
That's fine. Now let's get back to the issue. What's that?
So you talk about perception. My
Here
only
we go.
two immediate concerns from a perception perspective are what my wife must be going through right now.
Yeah.
Here it
and
comes.
the impact this is going to have on the Canadian forces.
It's
Where do we
coming.
go?
He's getting it. He broke into 82 homes before he started killing.
Russ, is there anything you want from me?
82 breaking and entering.
Is there anything you want me to explain?
to steal?
Is there
He
something
had
missing that
a
you're struggling with that I can
shrine
shed
of
some light
women's
on for you?
underwear in his home. Let me see what Mandy said. She says, "Brian, how was your date? I'm not into her. She rocked back and forth. I think she's guilty or something."
I'm struggling with how upset my wife is right now.
No, he's struggling
Nice.
with.
What are you looking
He
for?
knows he's fucked. Yeah, 82 break-ins.
I'm concerned that they're tearing apart my wife's brand new house.
It's
So am I.
And this is how sick this man is, that he's more worried about his wife's house getting busted up than the two victims that he killed and how their families feel.
But if nobody tells them what's there and what's not, they don't have any choice. Computers will be brought to Microsoft in California. They'll be picked apart. You can't erase things from computers. It doesn't happen. I'm sure you've seen that. I'm sure that's pretty common knowledge these days. It just doesn't happen. They sell programs that to try and help people clean their computers of stuff, and our guys are pulling that stuff out all the time. The FBI is pulling that stuff out all the time. This investigation
He's so close.
will end up costing no less than $10 million. Easy. And they will say no to nothing. Any request this major case manager makes on this case, they've already been told it's approved.
Still
Don't
trying.
even bother asking.
He's close. He's very, very close. He's still trying to weigh his options. Keeps laying it on thick.
So what am I doing, Russ? I put my best foot forward here for you, bud. I really have. I don't know what else to do to make you understand the impact of what's happening here.
He's squirming bad. Holy smokes, he's squirming. Yeah, I showed them earlier, Mama. Yeah, in the lingerie. In the lingerie.
Did we talk?
I want to
Excuse me.
minimize the impact on my wife.
So do I.
Lingerie.
So how do we do that?
Tell the
Wow.
truth.
You start by telling the truth.
Boom! It's close. He's like right here. He's like right here. Oh wow. That's crazy. Whew. Well, he's in jail now.
Okay.
Gotta read out. Oh, he got him. He broke him.
Where is she?
He got him. He's gonna tell him. It's coming.
You got a map?
Is she close to where she lives? I've got maps of that general area. Which town is she near? Why don't we start there?
That's it. You got it.
I'm not sure if you give me a map of it covers Calgary down to the highway and over to Tweed and south. I'll show you.
Let me see what I got here. I might have something. Is she inside, outside?
That's it. I'm trying to adjust my camera. Sorry. Uh-oh. I'm out of focus. Focus.
It's probably the biggest area I have there, Russ.
Yeah, you need more. You need a real map.
So where am I going on here to get to her?
In this block here.
Out in a boot.
Okay. So you're pointing to.
A
Oh,
detailed map
that
of
is a
area.
microphone, not mine. It's in the
Is
interrogation.
she close to a road?
I hate it. It's
Right.
annoying with headphones on.
Is it something where is she buried, or is she somewhere where if you walk there you would fairly easily see her?
It's here.
Okay. So she's south of 7, east of Tweed,
Mhm.
west of 41.
Mhm.
And what's this road here?
Not sure.
Something
Neither am I.
about the murders.
Okay.
Sorry
I'll be right
about
back, okay? Do
murders.
you want any water or anything?
And that
Sure.
interrogator is going to go out of that
Okay.
room and be like, "Oh, yeah, we got him."
How long has she been there for?
A little over a week.
Ugh.
Was it fairly quick from the time she left?
Friday night.
Friday night?
Yeah.
So where was she
It
between
beat.
Thursday night and Friday night?
In Tweed.
With you?
Yeah.
How long was she alive for?
Almost 24 hours, not quite.
Russ? You're doing the right thing here.
He's out and about. He's gonna shake his hand.
Okay.
Well, again, my interest is in making my wife's life a little easier.
Still worried about his wife.
And her family as well.
We share that
But
interest.
there's no, your time in Ottawa is wasted, really. I'll tell you where the membership cards are.
Where are they?
They're in the house there, but
In Ottawa?
Yeah.
Whereabouts?
Some in the camera bag, which they would have found in my office.
Mhm.
And when you walk into the office on the left side, there's a desk of drawers, set of
Okay.
drawers, like a filing cabinet, wooden, IKEA. In one of the top two drawers, and there's a plastic divider,
Out and about.
and there's inside there are two memory cards,
Okay.
which are blank, but I'm sure they can be
And whose images are on those cards?
well, I've erased them, but I expect you'll be able to draw images of Jessica and I.
What about Marie?
There may be images on there as well.
Oh, he's out and
And the
about.
two women from September?
Yep.
Okay. Do you have those images stored anywhere else?
Yeah, there are 2 hard drives in the house in Ottawa. I can draw you a little picture if you like.
Sure. Do you want to do that now while I'm
Sure.
getting them out?
He's gonna go out of that room and be like, "Yeah, we got him!"
Want anything to eat or anything?
Coffee there, eh?
Leave that with you. Okay.
Out and about. We're out and about.
But I do want to talk to you, Jim.
That's the plan. Okay. I'll be right back.
Alright, I'm probably gonna. Oh wait, maybe they cut it. Okay.
Can you make it up there? Thank you. Okay, make it up.
We got him there, out and about. Oh, don't you know?
Somebody running around looking for an actual map, but I did the same thing with the Google Maps. Just have to glue them up a little bit more. This is the biggest of the area.
Hey, out and about.
This might have better parameters for you. There's Tweed.
.7 kilometer from this intersection on the side of the road.
And what
Yes.
road is that? Kerry? No,
Yes.
south of, can't read that word. East Hungerford? Does that make sense? Oh, there it is there. Okay. How far off the road is she?
Yes, Mama.
If she covered with anything?
She's wrapped up.
In
She's
what?
on the surface.
Out and about.
A gray something or other. Cover.
Barry, the obvious question I'm going to have for you is when they go there, and they'll be there shortly,
Mhm.
they're going to find her.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I'll be right back. You look like you want to say something.
Just that this place, my wife, it's been a dream for
Still worried about his
better
wife.
part of a year, so I'm keen to get them what they need and so they can leave her alone.
Okay. Well, we're going to do our best to keep that as low key as possible. Okay. What do you want to talk about?
It's pretty wide open now.
Yeah.
What do you want to know?
Well, do you want to work forwards or backwards?
Doesn't matter.
Why don't we start with Jessica? How does that start for you?
Oh, anytime. Absolutely. We, what we do here, if people are coming in, on Thursdays, we look back at kind of odd, one-off cases, and we try to pull up the interrogation videos for, kind of like a throwback Thursday. I know most of us have probably have watched these, but I like to try to do a little bit of commentary over it as well. Just to kind of look back at these cases. And then on Tuesdays, right now, we have Serial Killer Tuesday, where we look back at infamous serial killers and try to find some news archive footage or maybe some interviews, with those individuals. And, we're just kind of carrying that theme right now. And then Sunday shows, if this is your first time over here, Sunday shows are we do Idaho 4, Brian Koberger type of material on Sundays. Those are the big shows. Again, you can't do Koberger all the time. You have to have other material. I like doing the interrogation stuff. I've always loved doing this. I always like looking back at them.
I saw her in her house on her treadmill. Wednesday night, I guess. Then I noticed she wasn't there Thursday. So I got into the house, look around. Then
it's very eerie. He'll talk about finding his way down in the basement and seeing a cat, and the cat noticing him, and then she got notice. I think this was Marie Francine Comeau. I think that's how you say her last name. That she actually notices the cat that sees him, and that's when he kind of sprung and got and grabbed her.
And then left.
Yeah.
Noticed she'd come home. So I went back in.
She was a real fat woman, wasn't she? Yeah.
Through the back patio door. While she was
sleeping.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be a size 16, would you?
So I woke her up.
You wouldn't be a size 16, would you? Chosen knows what I'm doing.
Didn't hit her. She only hit her once.
Hey, you wouldn't be a size 16, would you? Silence of the Lambs.
Okay.
Well, so I raped her in her house. And then I took her to the car and took her to Tweed. And spent the day in Tweed.
Out in a butte.
And then I hit her as we were walking. She thought we were leaving. Hit her on the back of the head.
Okay.
Anything in particular?
Well, what did the hit on the back of the head do?
Well, I was surprised that her skull gave way. She was there and immediately unconscious. I strangled her.
What did you hit her with?
Flashlight.
Flashlight, eh?
Okay.
Hit her with the
In the house
flashlight,
or
eh?
outside the house?
Who knows?
Ah, don't ya know? Don't ya know?
They'll find signs of that.
You darn tootin'.
Where in the house did this happen?
In the main portion, just in front of the fireplace.
Because he's a sick fuck.
What do you mean they'll find signs of it?
Oh, there's quite a bit of blood. I hadn't expected. I'd expected to knock her
Band
out.
van in the house. Thanks for joining. If you haven't already, please go
Obviously,
down,
didn't
hit
hit
that
it all,
old
but-
subscribe button.
What did she bleed onto?
The floor.
If I could get a few more likes in the room, that would be great too.
Okay.
Let's get
Did you
some
clean it up or
likes.
did you?
Thumbs
I
up,
went
smash
for
the like button.
that. I know I'd be easily spotted.
What makes you think that? If I walked in that house right now, would I see
You
it?
wouldn't see it, not at all. But you know, the right signs will show it. I'm sure.
Yeah, don't you know that?
So when that happened, did she have clothes on or was she naked? Or,
She was dressed.
so when we find her, is she gonna have those clothes on too?
Yeah.
She's gonna be out and about.
All right. Okay. Marie-France Comeau.
This is what I think he snuck into her
There was an
basement.
open window in the basement
Yeah.
of her house.
Her
when she was
house.
away. I went in there a couple of nights before she came home. Looked around. I went back in there late at night when she was at home. She was on the phone in her bedroom. She actually discovered me in the basement.
Horrifying.
She was trying to get her cat to come upstairs, and the cat was in the basement, had seen me and was fixated on me in the corner.
Ugh.
She couldn't get the cat up, so she came downstairs to try and get the cat, and I'm not more sure why she came over to me. I guess the cat was staring at me, and she was wondering what the cat was staring at.
Horrifying.
Lights were on.
She was out and about.
So when she spotted me, I had the same flashlight. I subdued her.
Just going to address this. Amber says in the chat, I don't think it'll be long before we find out that BK is a serial killer if they connect him to any of these other murders. So if anybody doesn't know, I talked about this a little bit at the beginning of the stream, that Brian Koberger right now, Pennsylvania police is now investigating him in some cold case homicides to see if there's any likeliness to the crime out in Idaho. And what I want everybody to keep in mind is think about all of the evidence that was collected at his parents' house, guns, knives, and things of that sort. So I'm not going to get too much into it because we're going to talk about this on Sunday on my Idaho 4 Koberger show. I'll be doing that at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I already have the tile up after this. If you just go to my homepage, click into that tile and hit remind me and come join us on Sunday. We have a lot to talk about with Koberger. But this is an excellent point that Amber brought up. You know, and someone was saying today in the comments, like, oh, you know, if News Nation's reporting it and blah, 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 blah. Listen, News Nation, you know, as much as I don't really like the politics of their channel, they've done a really great job at reporting on this. And they've been really one of the first news organizations to really get that out there, along with Sun Magazine or Sun.com. They've really done a deep dive and been very great on reporting new information and being the first to get out there. You know, if News Nation, the way that I look at it, has access to this information, then they have to have someone that's pretty close to this case and getting that information to be able to come out and say it live on air. And the thing that I question as well too is, look at a lot of the stuff that News Nation has put out there, a lot of it's come true. So you know, I use them as a reference. They're not a bad reference. I don't really care for the politics of their channel, but as far as in this case, they've been reporting on it. So you know, the other thing too is it only makes sense to look into cold cases in Pennsylvania as well too. So I'm going to save this for Sunday night, but I did want to address it since Amber brought it up. I'm going to do probably about 20 more minutes of this interrogation and then shut it down for the night, because I only really want to do a 2-hour show tonight. I'm not going to go super long, but we're going to have a super long show on Sunday. Make sure you come back and join us on Sunday. And again, if it's your first time, I'll just take a moment here. If you're first time on the channel, you're watching, make sure to subscribe. Send this a like down below. I really would appreciate it. I'm going to place the placeholder in the chat for Sunday show. That's going to be the big show. It's when we usually get our larger crowd. Come over there and join us on Sunday. You can click down below. Just hit the remind me button. We're going to do 20 more minutes here, and then we're going to wrap it up. All right, kids, sit back and let's enjoy.
Tied her up. Gone upstairs. And strangled her later in the morning. Well, more suffocated her. Some tape. Left her there.
How did you subdue her? When you say subdued her in the basement, what did you do?
Well, I had the same flashlight, and you know, she saw me right away, so it was just I hit her a couple of times and around her head, try and knock her out.
Mama, that's funny.
Didn't. She was bleeding a little bit.
Sarah, thanks for the subscribe. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I love it. I love bringing in all the new people. In this case, he only had 2, but he broke in and assaulted. I think he had 82 break-ins before he actually was caught. And assaulted a few women before that.
No, not a whole bunch.
Again, we're going to do 20 more minutes here, and then we're going to wrap this one up for tonight.
Okay. What area of the basement did
Thank
that
you
take
all
place
for
in?
hanging out. Victorine says Brian has really great content, covers a lot of cases and great chat. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Okay. Did she recognize you?
And Victorine's a channel member. If you're interested in joining the channel member and supporting monthly, you can go down there, hit the join button. I have different tiered structures that you can support on a monthly basis.
So you go upstairs and you said,
thank you, Christine. I appreciate that. I got your mug out today, by the way.
Well, I suffocated her. I put tape on her. And I put tape on her.
Should be a couple of days. You'll get it.
And then I put tape on her nose. And
thank you, Mandy Joe. Appreciate that. I appreciate you.
What kind of tape was it?
duct tape.
What happened to it?
I like ham. I'm definitely a ham person.
Well, I took it with me and can't remember what actually I did with that tape, but probably threw it in the garbage.
Did you use tape for any other purposes?
No.
Okay. Did she ever recognize you through this whole episode?
No.
What did you say you had on your face?
Egg.
Just a cover for my head, just to,
Yeah.
to sports.
Blank out that fucking soul patch on his head.
Cap kind of thing.
Okay.
Just a, lycra or something. And a
Cover my patch. Yeah. Cover for his patch.
nose and mouth. Covered most everything but my eyes.
Covered everything but his eyes. Gee, sounds familiar, like someone we know in another case right now. They all have covering their
Now
face.
this flashlight, where is that now?
And Tweed.
In the house?
Yeah.
What kind of flashlight is it?
It's a red 3 Blvd. I'm not sure. what brand
Double
it is,
D.
but it's a metal.
The baby.
I can't remember what brand of aircraft aluminum flashlights already see on it. Anyway, it's a bigger one of those.
Yeah, we're gonna cover Watts. We're gonna cover
did you
that
take
too on
anything out
Throwback
of,
Thursday.
Marie-France's house or Jessica Lloyd's house?
Yeah, some of their underwear.
This guy loved taking their underwear.
And where is that?
Don't ya know?
It's in some boxes in the basement here in Ottawa, in that rec room. So we just moved in, so there are boxes everywhere. So on the same side as the furnished room, sort of the back against the wall.
Okay. What do the other boxes look like?
Yeah, don't ya know?
I think one's a scanner, the box for my scanner.
About another 15, and I'm gonna wrap this one up
Next
tonight.
So a quick look through the boxes there.
I apologize. We won't get through the
How much
phone
underwear is in
page,
those boxes?
I just essentially wanted to watch the build up until he got him to confess, because that's the most compelling part. I mean, we know about the case after this, but again, we'll watch through another 15 minutes. I'm going to wrap this one up, and we'll be back on Sunday, like I said.
Probably 60 pieces or so.
All women's?
This guy with his underwear, man.
Of whose?
Of Jessica's and Marie-France.
This guy loved taking their
So you took-
underwear.
60 pieces from between the two of them?
Yeah.
Don't ya know?
Okay.
So,
All right. And they're in like when you talk about scanner, is it a computer scanner box?
my computer scanner is up in the office, and its box is down in the basement. So it's inside that box.
Does any of the underwear in those boxes belong to anyone other than Marie-France or Jessica?
Yarmouth.
Yeah, there's some from each of the other two women.
Okay. Why don't we talk about those two women?
I'm sure he was.
So the first one happened on the 16th, and I don't know why I can't recall their names, but
He got life with the possibility of parole after 25 years, which is ridiculous and insane. This man should be, well, I shouldn't say man, this demon should be put behind bars for the rest of his life.
the lady that was lived closer to you.
No, Laurie was closer to me.
Okay.
So the first one.
Put it there in the chat if you're
Spotted
interested,
her.
Manny Joe.
In our boat, actually. And I got into the house while she was asleep.
Super dangerous.
Noticed that she was alone. And just hit her with my hand while she was sleeping. Subdued her. Mostly just my weight on top of her. Had her take off her pajamas, took some pictures, took some of her underwear and left.
This guy loves the underwear.
And the other woman?
Same kind of deal. Went in through the back of the house.
We got a gifted membership. We know what we do. I'm sorry, I can't pull up the gifted memberships, but Amber Rice has gifted a membership to. Who did you give it to? Trying to look. Who did we give it to? Andrea D is now a new member of the channel. I appreciate a new member. I'll get this out, I promise. Bear with me, but you know what we do when we get new members signing up and contributing on a monthly basis. We'll give the tone and a cheer. All right, moving on. Oh, I gotta get it off loop. I'm looping the cheer. All right, moving on. Thank you so much for gifting that, Amber. You're the best. You're one of the biggest contributors here and a moderator. I appreciate you so much. And look, you know, I hope you're safe in your hometown. I know you're going through a lot, and to be here in those tough times is amazing that you would take the time to do that. And I appreciate you going out and handing food out to people today in need. It's really great and very noble of you. But we're going to do about another 11 minutes, 10 minutes or so here on the channel. And I'm going to rock this one down for tonight. I will be back on Sunday evening at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you so much. Let's finish off here. It's not going to be the full confession, but I wanted to get to that build-up moment when this demon, Russell Williams, confessed to the murder. So we're going to play out another 10 minutes and we're going to close it up.
She was sleeping in her, not in her bedroom, but in her, in front of the TV. Very much the same story.
No, it's
different
just
about that story.
I have early day at work tomorrow, and I can't do a 3-hour stream tonight. I just can't do it. I have too much going on at work tomorrow, so got to get in early tomorrow. Can't be up late, so we'll rock this one down in about 10 minutes.
I mean, pretty much the same story and exactly the same story.
And the thing is like when you really go over 2 hours, people are not watching after 2. I know it's fun for you, but on replay, people aren't going to sit through a 2-hour replay, a 3-hour replay. It's nothing against you guys. You know, we can do those big shows, you know, those long shows. I usually have to cut them down into two separate parts. But the 3-hour shows, people don't. My watch count on 3-hour shows, people are not watching. It's just too long. 2 hours is usually about the sweet spot. But let's rock this up for another 9 minutes.
Things, right?
Yeah, no, not much different at all. I did have the flashlight that time. I hit her with a flashlight and thinking it would knock her out.
No, listen. I can't get into that on air, but that's another story.
Took off her clothes, took some
Maybe we'll
pictures.
do a members only chat about that. Let's just say there's a little bit of the stalker vibe going on there. Stalker. Shut that down. Yeah, you know, I'm hoping one day I'll be a full-time YouTuber. I think that's a long way out. But the subscriber count is growing.
About that?
Need to get people here.
About why?
Yeah.
Get them to understand we are a live show 3 nights a week. Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Come join the live show because that's what it's all about. The live show.
Yeah.
Yes, Steven.
But I don't know the answers.
Yeah, I quit my day job. Yeah, what are you going to support me? I would need a lot of super chats for that support. Believe me, I would need a lot of super chats.
Let me ask you this: did you like or dislike these women?
I didn't know any of them.
Okay.
You know, it's funny. Victorine says, I live for the lives. You know, that I live for the lives. I love just turning the camera on and performing. I guess I'm performing or giving content back. You know, it was like funny. I did that. If you ladies and gentlemen saw the Koberger video I dropped today, you know, talking about being possibly investigated in other crimes. If you haven't seen that, I'm going to drop that link here in the chat. Please go back and give it a watch after the stream. But you know, it's like I can't shoot videos. Like I just got to turn the camera on and just perform. It's really, really, really tough. But after the stream, go watch this video. I talked a little bit about Koberger being investigated in Pennsylvania right now for other crimes, and they're comparing his actions in alleged actions in Idaho, and comparing some of that to cold case Pennsylvania crimes. It's really just getting the live streams up. I want to build this, and like I said, I wanted to at least try to get at least 100 people consistently on every night. That's my goal. I know the Sunday shows are huge. We've seen 200 plus people on those shows. These midweek shows have been, they've been light, but I love the fact that I have my faithful followers that come here. It's just letting the other people that subscribe to the channel, like, hey, look, I do 2 other nights here too, and I want to make sure that we're doing, valuable content across the whole channel. So it'll get there. We're building it. We're building this. We're building this team together. All of your hard work as well. So
no, I guess when you're going through these things,
it is awesome. It is awesome.
Are you?
2 hours is
usually. Talk about Jessica, because she was there with you for the whole day, right? What kind of feelings were you experiencing? While
we're getting there. That channel's growing. Channel is growing. I'll do a sub count at the end, and we can compare where we were, where we're at.
Oh, she was a very nice girl.
Yeah, Victorine says, Brian, you're so good at criminal.
Tell me why you killed
I'm not a criminal. So.
Do you know why you killed her?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I think I killed her because I knew that.
I can't get into it live on air. Mandy Joe, if you want to email me, you can. theopinionatedidiot@gmail.com. I can get into it there, but I'm not going to do it live.
Her story would be recognized.
Couple more minutes, and we're going to wrap this.
Her story would be recognized? How do you mean?
Well, because she knew I was taking pictures.
This guy and his pictures and his panties. He loves it.
So because of the 2 stories in Tweed, that would have been very
funny.
Yeah. Been quite obvious.
So if you didn't take pictures,
no, I tend not to watch. I tend not to watch like other true crime, because I don't want that. I don't want their ideas and their opinions to kind of leak and kind of distort mine. Obviously, my relationship with Drunk Turkey Show. We've done stuff together. I love Daniel and those guys over there. Publicly Buzzed is another cool guy. He's great. I'd love to do some more stuff with him. But I tend not, I don't have time to sit and watch a lot of the other true crime channels, and they're doing their own material, and I do my own here. I have my opinions over here. That's why you all come here and watch me. I just don't want to be infected and start going off on what my channel vision is. So
I don't know.
I mean, she's at your house, right? Well, let me ask you this: is it?
Have a good night. If you're leaving, Victorine, we'll see you here on Sunday fun day.
And 2 died. What was the difference in your mind between?
Well,
100% is more creative.
The attention the first 2 got.
When you start watching as a YouTuber, as you start watching if you watch other channels, it tends to warp your vision of, what you want your channel to be. So like I said, I tend not to do that, and I don't want to fall into like someone else's opinion. You know, that's why I kind of don't watch other channels. Everybody has their own
Was very much
vision.
focused on, obviously, or for obvious
3 more
reasons,
minutes. We're going to wrap this one
pictures I
up,
took.
ladies and germs.
So anybody else telling stories about
Abute,
pictures
Ute, Abute.
would have been a fairly straight line.
Okay, but when this thing happened with Marie-France, did you believe that you were already a suspect for what happened in Tweed?
No,
So what were you concerned about?
well, because
It is terrifying. Have you read the terms of service? Thank you so much. Thanks for dropping
I
by.
was
Have a
pretty
great
sure
night.
that, you know,
And thanks for
she
the
was serving
new
military,
subscribe.
right?
I appreciate it.
It would have been.
All right.
It would have been difficult for.
I'm gonna stop this one here and get ready to do my outro here in a second. Let's see. Let's do a sub count. I know you guys always like the sub count. Let's take a look at the subs. No, not subs that I ate today, but look, we have 3160. I need to update the big board. I gotta update the big board on our way to 5,000. I want 5,000 subs by June 26th, the date of Brian Koberger's preliminary hearing. I want to be at 5,000 subscribers, and the only way I can get there is for you all to keep joining the lives, supporting the lives, and watching videos and clicking through. We're getting close. I want 5,000 by June, and then by the end of the year, I want 10,000. 10,000 by the end of the year. We can do it. We can do it. We got this. We got this. But that is going to end Throwback Thursday for this evening. Again, we got to watch Russell Williams. I will not call him Colonel because I will not give him that respect, as I have a lot of family in the military. I'll give you a little bit of a background right here. Military. 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of my great uncles all went into World War II and all served in very key pivotal points in battle, and all of them made them back home. So yes, my uncles went and fought the Nazis and all kicked some ass over there and came back here and made it back home. My family actually is, I wouldn't say own, but my family has the record for the most enlisted family members in World War II all at the same time, and all made it back alive. And when they came back, they all became firefighters in their respective towns. We have a big tribute memorial in one of our towns here in Massachusetts. And then there's a big memorial up in York, Maine. My great uncle, the only living one, made it to 100 years old, and he passed away a couple of years ago on Thanksgiving. So thank you to all my great uncles, and thank you to anybody in here that has served in the military. We appreciate it, and we honor military vets, past and present, in this house here. So my friends, you know what? Saving Private Ryan, great movie, but you know what? Fighting Sullivans, sorry, my family's got you. My family's got you. I almost think that the last scene there, if you've seen Saving Private Ryan, the bridge in Ramel that they go to save, I wish I could disclose my uncle's information, because reading his military history, yes, he did go off and save a bridge in a town with a German town with R next to it. So pretty interesting long military history. And I have a cousin that just retired from the Army. I think he did 35 plus years. And I have another cousin that is very high ranking officer in the military. I'm not going to get into his ranking or his background or anything, but he's very, 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 very high up. I'm talking Pentagon high up. And I honor him, and I am very proud to know that he is very close to being one of the highest ranking officers in the Navy. So that's a awesome honor. But anyway, tonight this is going to end this live stream for this evening. I will be back here on Sunday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you, my faithful crowd, for coming in and watching on these weekly streams. We know that we get the big crowd on Sunday. I know you will all be here. I do appreciate all of you. I will see you again on Sunday. Don't forget to go over, watch the new videos that I dropped today. I would appreciate it. Give them a like, a thumbs up, a comment. First time here in the chat room, please make sure to subscribe, turn all notifications on, and I will be back again Sunday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. With that being said, I am the Opinionated Idiot. I'll see you all on Sunday. Peace.